When I was younger, it used to be a lot of pleasure to me when I see my wives goofing off and playing and having fun together. I'm jaded, I guess. I just don't see plural marriage in the same light that I used to. And we're at a stage in our lives now where we're far apart and we're struggling with getting along. I think plural marriage fits well with the personality of one of my wives. I'm not going to tell you which wives do better and which wives don't do well with plural marriage because I don't want the world judging.
Hi, friends. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. Yesterday, we spoke about Christine and Christine's possible exit from Sister Wives. And today, I wanted to just discuss the evolution of Christine and how she's finally turning the tables or turning the page on her next chapter. And what I think she could do to truly use her platform to help other women that are trapped in polygamy. Whether or not she goes this route, I don't know, but I know along the way, in the 15 years that the show has been on the air, there's been a lot of people in the world of polygamy that found themselves on the receiving end of what they felt like was gaslighting. Gaslighting by TLC, by a cult, and by the mainstream media who refuse to acknowledge the role of and the harm of polygamy and discounting the voices of the victims involved in polygamy. And to this day, despite the fact that there's been pretty significant fractures in this family, and really despite the fact that there's been tragedies within this family with the loss of their son Garrison, with other children, getting injured or hurt, tragedies that were not discussed on the show, like an accident with the ATV that was covered up by Kody and Robin, Truly's near death experience with her kidney infection. There's been so much financial harm that's been done to to this family, and this underlying concept that the children and the women were, from all intents and purposes, labor trafficked by Kody for years because he was using the wealth of the show to fund his lifestyle, and the women were given what they got, regardless of the amount of work that they put in. And while he and his wife, Robin, lived off those riches, and the other wives and their children noticed the disparities, significant disparities that became a lot more apparent when they got to Flagstaff, some of the women finally couldn't do it anymore. Once they left Vegas, the income disparities were so atrocious, specifically when it came to Janelle, where Janelle needed money to pay off the property to build, and Kody refused. Instead of helping her pay off the property, Janelle ended up in a trailer for a period of time and then in a small apartment. And Kody was nowhere near her to help her purchase a home. Meanwhile, he spent money from Janelle and Mary to buy his wife Robin a house that would be his primary residence. Because when we talk about Kody and Robin, they're married. And so anything they buy together. With Christine, when she left, she was in a unique financial position. And so she was able to leave the world of polygamy a lot easier than a lot of women because she had the financial backing of an income from the show. She had very meticulously and intelligently made sure that the property that she owned in Flagstaff was without any other encumbrances from Kody. His name was removed from the title. She refinanced her mortgage a year before she left. And when she made the decision to leave, she owned the home independent of Kody. Her name was only on the mortgage. And so she could leave without Kody doing a damn thing about it. Her evolution from a mom that basically worked at a gas station part-time and had limited education outside of high school and a little bit of college, morphed into a woman that obtained her license in real estate, learned the laws of real estate, and understood the intricacies of owning property herself, and is now enabled and used that knowledge to not only leave Kody by getting her property in her name, but now she's a property owner of 3 separate properties in Utah. She has come a long way, and she's been cheered on along the way by her children. She's got a lot of family that supports her and friends. Her leaving Kody was by far the hardest thing that she's ever had to do, and this video is because she made this post recently on her Instagram. Walking away Walking away was a mess. Bags half packed, heart hammering, no clue what came next. I thought I needed a plan, every answer lined up. I didn't. I wish I'd known. You don't have to figure it all out to start. I was so scared. Would I be enough for myself, for my kids? I couldn't see past the first shaky step, but taking it, even terrified, was everything. One move, one breath, that's where I found my footing. Years later, I'm still here, stronger than I ever thought. You've got that in you too. What's one step you're afraid to make? Tell me I'm here, pom poms ready. She said, and that was on a quote, the one thing I wished I knew before I changed everything. In the past year, since she married David, she has changed her tone and delivery in the narrative on her Instagram. Her Instagram used to heavily feature photographs of her family, and while family members and photos of the family are still there, it's now filled with posts about strength, finding joy, and finding courage to change circumstances that you feel like are impossible to change. Christine is coming from a place where she left her religion, she left her church, and she left her partner that she was with for 25 years. Kody Brown and Christine were married in 1994, not married legally by brethren from the Apostolic United Brethren. She was the third wife of Kody, and she reveled in that role as a third wife. She never wanted to be a first wife, a second wife. She always wanted to be a third. Now, I think what she probably wouldn't tell you is the reason why she probably wanted to be the third wife is that in the church that she comes from, very rarely do men take more than 3 wives because 3 is all they need to achieve the celestial kingdom. And so there's a sentiment in the church which is, why would you add more? Why would you put more on the plate if you don't need to? If 3 is what you need to get there, who cares about more? But some men in this group want more than 3. They want to achieve levels in the church. They want to become leaders. They want to become prophets. And 3 doesn't get you into leadership. Kody had his sights set on more, and so he took on Robin. But he also needed Robin because without Robin, TLC never would have agreed to a show. So as her shift has happened, she's leaving one role where she used to be a vocal advocate for polygamy, and she is now becoming a proponent of polygamy. And she's doing it in a different way than some that leave. But I do suspect that once her book comes out, it's going to put her in the role as a full apostate. An apostate in the church that she's from is someone that has left the church and that has abandoned the faith and has basically, by some is shunned and by some is still accepted. But Christine mentioned that there are people that are in her church that will not have anything to do with her now because she's left and she has denounced polygamy. When she announced her book, this is what she wrote on her Instagram. I have a book about my life coming soon. You can pre order it today and use the site listed at the bottom and the link in the comments. It's gritty and honest as I tell my story living polygamy as a child to my marriage and my life. It shows my heartache with leaving religion and my marriage to finally meeting David. I'm so excited I partnered with Kelly Kennedy, the amazing and talented author. I did not write it myself, even though every word is mine. And I'm grateful to Simon and Schuster for believing in my book and publishing it. So she's going to be using a ghost author for this, but a gritty look into leaving her religion and finally her marriage, and then meeting David. On February 10th, she said, my journey shows that change is possible if you feel confined by silence. Know that every little step brings you closer to a brighter tomorrow. Let's move forward together. If you feel confined by silence. The fact that she has said that she felt confined by silence tells me a couple things, and it's what I've always suspected. There are stipulations in her contract in Sister Wives that don't allow her or anyone in the family to share the truth of their life that's detrimental and that would harm the show. For instance, Christine's kids have alleged that they were abused by Mary. And that allegation, when it came out, caused a huge storm within the family because when Peyton made the allegation and he made the statement, it was then corroborated by McKelty and by Gwendolyn. 3 separate kids, 3 separate points of view, all said it happened. Over the years, Christine has made comments about how her relationship with Mary broke down and how it had to do with Mary's discipline of her children and believing that Mary had crossed lines that were not acceptable to her. She was picking on Christine's kids because she was mad at Christine and she wanted Mary to leave her children alone. She said these fights about the children are ultimately what eroded her relationship with Mary, not because she didn't like Mary as person or not because they weren't formally friends, but because Mary caused harm to her children. The abuse that happens that is rampant in polygamy is a byproduct of the structure where wives have no voice or power. And so they generally will take out their anger and frustration on people that they have power over. They can't take it out on their husbands, so then they take it out on each other and on the other wives' children. We don't currently know what actually happened because the kids have never said anything. But this is one moment and one part where she's been confined by silence. McKelty has said repeatedly, and so has Peyton, that their mom was really upset when this came out because it could end the show, because it would negatively impact how people view the show. It is it would be show ending. There are apparently secrets within this family that are so awful that they have been confined to withhold from the public. Otherwise, TLC would cancel the show if the public knew. That's been reiterated by multiple children. Obviously, under that, and understanding the women who were forced to do the show because this is what Kody wanted, and he was after wealth and fame, they had to put on a face every day that they filmed and play happy and play nice with each other and pretend like things were okay or keep sweet, gloss over their feelings, and be confined by the silence because not only did they have to protect the secrets that were happening in the family and the abuse that was happening, but they also couldn't tell Kody or each other about how they were feeling because each one of them would use things against each other to hurt each other, and Kody would pit them against each other. In their culture, they're not allowed to have feelings. They're told and taught that this is a growth model. So when you hear Janelle talk about how she's still has grown and it's such a great growth experience and the family grew through their experiences, that's how the women are brainwashed to believe that this is good for them. It's good for them to go through the abuse because they're growing through it. They're learning to get through their stuff. So Christine and Janelle were recently on a podcast. And during the conversation of the podcast, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Christine talked about her leaving her church and the challenges of leaving the church and the fact that she no longer believes in anything. She doesn't believe in the Mormon church at all. She made that very clear. She left not only fundamentalism, but she doesn't believe in the Book of Mormon at all. She still has a relationship with God, but she views that as false religion. What she's doing right now on her Instagram is leaving us breadcrumbs. She's telling us what's to come. And I believe what she's planning to do is ripping that band-aid off of silence, and she will be sharing some of the nitty-gritty, uncomfortable truths about her life that she hasn't revealed before. I know a lot of people are not interested. They think that she will lie. They think that it's not going to be enough, that she won't address certain topics. She'll water things down. I don't know, but what I do know is that when Christine left polygamy, she said one of the hardest things for her was facing the fact that people would think she was a liar. People would call her a fraud because for years she said that she was happy in polygamy, that this was what she wanted, that this was what a choice was. She was a proponent, she was an advocate, she helped change laws, which she still to this day thinks were good that the laws changed. I think for any woman that leaves polygamy, at least in my experience of having walked through this world with so many women that have left, everybody's journey out is different and how they let go of the different beliefs and the programming is all individual and which direction they go in terms of how they embrace their new freedom. It's all very different and how they are able to work through the trauma. Christine has already stated on the show that she has trauma that she is dealing with. Leaving and being in Flagstaff for her is what she said is traumatic. And I would expect that we're seeing little snippets of it on the show where she addresses the fact about how scared she is. She has nightmares, right? She has nightmares that she is still married to Kody. Kody was her abuser. He terrorized her for all those years. And I think part of that book and part of this book of reclaiming her voice is owning the fact that what she said before was under the pretense of indoctrination, and now she can be more honest. I don't know that it's going to be the hugest tell all you've ever seen, but I do think it's going to probably give you more than what we know already. Christine has been confined by silence and controlled by silence through Kody and through the cult and through TLC. And that silence enabled Kody to abuse and terrorize her and her kids for a very long time. Kody now can't control what she does. And so the fact that she's writing this book and she's using her voice and flipping things now is so powerful because for years she told everyone they needed to stay and now she's encouraging them to leave. My one hope in all of this is that as she works through this, she reconnects with family members that have left that have been, by all intents and purposes, shunned by her. So she shunned people that were trying to help her years ago. I do hope she reconnects with those loved ones and they can have a meeting of the minds and reconnect and find happiness and joy together, reestablish. She might not want to, those bridges might already be burned, but part of healing is not only reclaiming your voice, but also correcting your wrongs. And my hope is that this book will do both while also putting on holding Kody accountable for what he's done. She's also suing him. So there's a lot that's going to be coming towards Kody, right? He's got the lawsuit from her and now this book. With her book coming out in September, it'll be interesting to see how the family will react. I expect there will be a flurry of output. I don't expect Kody will take the news of this book well. I'm going to expect that he will be very angry about it, but I do hope that with this, she gets a sense of closure for that chapter, and I hope she can move on. The best thing that she could do is use this book to propel her forward in advocacy to help other women and children and men leave polygamy and educate those in the world about the harms of polygamy. Because if she rewrites that, then no one can call her a fraud. What are your thoughts? Do you think this book will truly she'll come clean? Do you think that the horrors of Kody and in the family would be exposed? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.